Good evening and welcome to the Whaler Guys. I'm Jerry Irwin along with Pete Hindle here on not a bad night.
Pretty good.
Yeah, you're not sweating too bad tonight.
Not too bad. I can see through, the sheen on my forehead is not as severe.
Well, we want to thank Jose, our producer, for putting together a great brand new opening. Please tell us what you think of the opening. We really like it. It seems to be what we were missing. We loved the previous opening, but the Brass Bonanza really adds something.
Yeah, after on the unfortunate passing of Jack Say, who wrote the Brass Bonanza and didn't even really know it was a TV song for a hockey team. A TV show. I mean, a song for a hockey team. And after his passing, we realized we haven't had the Brass Bonanza on our show probably in 3 or 4 years. So why not get a new opening? Because hey, we always are progressing on this move to bring back the NHL. So keep people entertainment and tell us what you think. Do you like the Brass Bonanza back into the opening? It kind of gives that kick in the punch. It's like scoring a goal. It gives you that feeling.
You have the logo, and the song just complements the whole package.
Right. Yeah,
it really
absolutely.
does.
I mean, it is quintessential Hartford hockey. I mean, that's the epitome. Can you think of a better hockey song? I mean,
no.
I don't even know if the Zambonis can say they have a better hockey song. I mean, no offense, Zambonis, but I'm just saying, Brass Bonanza.
And all these years go by, 20 and counting, and Major League Baseball teams use it, the Yard Goats use it, UConn uses it, and so, it's still out there. It's still in the forefront, sporting events all over the country. So, for us to add it back into our show, it's the exclamation point on a great opening, and thank you, Jose, for helping us out with that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're coming up on year 7. This is year 7 of us doing this show, and we have so many great guys that help us out and follow us, and retweet and like and post and share your stuff to our page. We have people that actually share stuff to our page. So year 7 coming up. It'll be in August. We started this show back in Farmington. With Nutmeg TV, and you also can you can see some of our older shows. We were looking at some of our older shows, and we got Howard Baldwin, we got Bob Crawford with the Wolfpack. We had Greg Gilmartin, the voice of the Whalers when you came into the arena, and the guy said, "Here are your Hartford Whalers." Yep. So you can check that out by going to nutmegtv.org on demand. Yep. You can also do that with our shows currently here at Hartford Public Access by going to Hartford Public Access Video on Demand, or VOD, and you type in the keyword, Whalers or Whaler Talk, as our old show was, or now Whaler Guys with the Hartford Public Access. But we have so many shows out there now, and so many great guests.
Over the years, our first show, and Sean, my son, was with us for our first several shows. He did a great job as a young high school kid. Now living on his own in New York.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, our first guests were members of the Hartford Whalers Booster Club, Al Victor, who was the president of the club, and now, unfortunately, Marty, who passed away. That was really cool to have them on because, the Booster Club has been around ever since the Whalers were here, and, they've done a great job bringing up a lot of the past and carrying on with the marching of the St. Patrick's Day Parade, keeping the signs up and the Whalers logo out in public more than we've had an opportunity. Recently we've been out there more, but there's only so much time, and the same with them. There's almost so much time in a day.
Right.
But when you look back, what's scary is we were a hell of a lot younger. Thank God I got rid of the mustache because that was butt ugly. And a little grayer as we go on.
I had a
few more pounds. Not that I like to talk about that, but it's been a great journey. We've had a great time, and really, when it comes down to it, Peter and I come on here every Wednesday to try to keep you guys up to date on what we've heard or what's going on. Kind of keeping the hockey alive in Hartford as much as we can. But without you guys, we wouldn't have a platform or a sounding board, because you guys, you give us some feedback, and positive and negative, and we look forward to it because it only enhances how we can do the show and reach out to you guys. We're up to almost 1,500 people on Facebook, so it's you guys that have made this work.
130 followers on YouTube. We've got over 25,000 views on YouTube and all our shows. Certain celebrities have even liked our thing. I mean, John Hodgman's a big liker of our stuff. He loved that logo.
Mike Rotman, he's out of the LA area, California.
He even came back, I think, for the Whaler weekend that we just had a couple weekends ago. And the whole point is bottom line is we wouldn't even be here if there wasn't interest in the Whalers. I mean, it's just bottom line is we really are, hanging on to that Whaler logo because that really keeps us going. And, we try to do some events and keep things going. And, so far so good. I mean, it's been slow and painful to get this XL Center redone, but they're making progress. So
the ice sheet's completed.
Right.
We have heard that the NHL actually came into the building to check out the ice sheet.
Yeah.
Again, that's unconfirmed. We have not really confirmed that.
We didn't see it with our own eyes.
You're right.
We have people that told us they saw it, but
Right.
again, you have to, you say that we don't have anything that we don't have anybody that told us it absolutely happened. But the bottom line is, they are probably taking a look at it. If the ice and the dasher system and boards has to be done, we've shown pictures. If you've seen recently, they completely redid the ice sheet, tore up 12 miles of piping, all that stuff. So the ice and the boards are NHL ready. It's just the rest of the building you got to do now. Yeah. And there's still budget issues with the state budget, and that money is in there somewhere. So it's either approved or not approved.
Like you saw today, that it could be held off until fall.
Yeah,
that
which
they
is
approve
crazy.
this budget. It really pisses me off that these people are elected state officials and they can't get along to pass a budget.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is, just get it done. It's your job. If any of us couldn't do our job, we'd be fired.
Yeah.
It seems like, we vote for these people and they continually let us down. I have a difficult time, put your money where your mouth is, get out there, and if you're representing us, get the job done. You don't see this happening with other states.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people are moving to other parts of the country. And I happen to agree with them. Why do I want to stay here if it's business as usual and every year we can't get a budget passed on time? On time seems like the definition of on time. So, they have a tough job. I understand that. But there's a drop dead date. Let's get it done.
Yeah.
And it's not just for the XL Center. Hell, I'm a state worker, and they're going through the concession talks and everything like that. So I understand there's an awful lot to go through, but there's a time frame. Get it done.
Yeah.
Get together. This bitching and moaning back and forth between, the Democrats and Republicans. Come to a compromise in the middle somewhere. This nonsense of dragging all the taxpayers through the mud because you can't do your jobs to get together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
And it's vital for the XL Center for one, and it's people don't want to hear about the XL Center with all these budget issues, but you're still talking about 500,000 people that come to the XL Center every year. And, with the Wolfpack and UConn, then you're talking about 55 dates on this new ice sheet, which, the players should appreciate. The coaching staff, we had the Wolfpack head coach, Keith McCambridge, in here. He's looking forward to it.
What a great guy.
Great guy, great coach, gets the market, from Winnipeg, understands that Winnipeg's kind of like Hartford in terms of a small market.
Sure.
And, he seemed like it's going to be an interesting Wolfpack season. The new goalies and, some new players, and they got rid of some players that weren't working out well in Hartford. So that's coming around the corner. I think the AHL season is less than 70 days away.
October 6th.
Yes, less than 70 days away.
I think they open up against the Charlotte Checkers.
Yeah, which is the old Whaler AHL team, kind of.
Kind of, sort of. Well, they were led by Ulf Samuelsson, and now he's on with Chicago with Kevin Dineen and Joel Quenneville.
Right, and we just heard of another Whaler coach signing, actually, Peter Sidorkiewicz, who was the goaltender who came in after Mike Liut and was the first Polish-born NHL player, played for the Whalers and played admirably, and actually has a decent record with the Whalers in terms of holding down the fort. He played in those playoff games against the Bruins, which weren't easy. He ended up losing those games. First series they lost in 7 games, and then they lost the second series in 6 games. He was the main goalie in that whole thing, and then of course he got taken in the expansion draft with the Ottawa Senators, and from there, boy, you can't really. You're just, that's like, you're just trying to put out a fire with as much buckets of water as you have.
Yeah.
But anyway,
well,
that's interesting. He's with the Norfolk Admirals, by the way.
Yep, and the other thing I was noticing with the UConn schedule, we don't get to see UConn at home this year until November 3rd.
Wow.
Yeah. They're opening up, I think, with a back-to-back with Vermont that weekend, which is a great series. It's going to be a great series. Yeah. But we have to wait till November 3rd.
Yeah.
A whole month of hockey, really, before we get the UConn Huskies on the ice with the new ice sheet. The Wolfpack will test it out. Hopefully the ice is shifted in their favor this year, and I really got a great feeling with Keith McCambridge. Down-to-earth guy, It seems like a no-nonsense business type guy.
Yeah, I love the way he said, hey, we're going to play on our toes and not on our heels, meaning we're going to be aggressive, make the other team adapt to our style of play, and that sounds great.
Yeah.
They definitely needed that after last year. Just the team wasn't motivated. The team got sucked of all their draft picks, so there really wasn't a lot of talent. But as you mentioned with UConn, the first year that they played that Boston College game. That was November 5th. So they may be going back to this style where they wait a month, because the October games, let's be honest, they don't draw the most people.
Right.
Last year they're playing Huntsville, Alabama, and AIC, which
Well,
were formidable. Were
they
good
open up
players,
against
but-
Maine. They
yeah.
open up against back-to-back with Maine.
Yeah.
Away.
Yeah.
So you're going to see a change in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the Huntsville series was good for us because we did well. We
Right.
opened up with 2 quick wins.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
so
two
that-
back-to-back shutouts.
yeah.
And Maine, that last year they had the trouble because they got lost to them at Fenway, and they played them in Bridgeport where they beat them, I think, 6-4 or something like that. So they split with Maine last year. Vermont was another story, of course, and this is really a year where they need to make the playoffs. I mean, they need
do.
to get a home game,
Deeper
playoff game.
into the playoffs.
Yeah, deeper into the playoffs. I mean, and now people have been going to these games for 3 years. There has been a small drop in attendance, but that's expected as, kind of like with the Yard Goats. I don't expect the Yard Goats to draw more and more as they get a little bit older. You expect some kind of fluctuation in the attendance numbers, but still, the Hockey East games for UConn, they're number 2 in the league in Hockey East matchups at home. And, we might as well throw this in there because we were going to talk about this. Coach Kavanaugh had a great saying to all of you Hartford hockey fans to go to the Excel Center. This is what he said. He said, quote, "We love playing at home in front of our fans. Our enthusiastic crowds at the Excel Center make it a very tough environment for our opposition. I know our team feeds off of the energy, and it motivates all of the players to perform at the highest level." I mean, that's end quote.
It
Now,
is.
that's a really great quote from the coach. I believe every word he says. He doesn't have to say that.
No.
And I think he realizes that, hey, we do play better at home because this crowd gets into it. And it's different. It's, if you haven't been to a UConn game, get down there and check it out because the crowds are so much into it, especially a Hockey East matchup. It's a nice thing for Hartford. Hartford's slowly trying to get out from under its financial
remember,
burdens. But
he's been all over the country playing. So
Yeah.
for him to really say that about our fans is wonderful. And we do have a request in to try to get Coach Cav on the show. Bill Peterson, who runs the ice hockey, men's ice hockey communications, is currently out on vacation, but hopefully he'll return the emails that we sent out, or else he's on the list.
Yeah.
But having Coach Cav in prior to this season would be great. We can get how he feels about some of the signings that UConn has, commitments that have come in this year.
Right.
They had 4 or 5 that were mentioned on the website the other day. So to have these players is very important to add some younger blood in there that you can carry 3 or 4 years.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you had a great week. I was away on vacation.
Right.
Pete was able to go to Whaler Weekend at the Yard Goats, and you have to give Dean
Zappalardi,
a great deal of credit for really probably having a headache and a half for probably a couple months trying to put this thing together.
Oh, sure. I mean, keeping it realistic, I mean, it's a AA team. So for the players that they got, I mean, they had 14 or 15 Whalers there, plus Chuck Caton. They had a couple equipment managers. They even had Bob Crawford had friends that used to play in the NHL. One guy who played for the Kings and one guy played for the Rangers. They were there too as well. And a lot of them were players that played probably before. A lot of the younger kids could remember. But man, those guys seemed to have fun. I went to the Whaler Luncheon, which I know was $100. It was for charity at the Boys and Girls Club of Hartford. So it was the people that attended it, kind of knew the players, or some people from the Booster Club were there. They knew some of the players. But to see some of the people, and the Current had a phenomenal front page thing. Ed Hospodar, who used to call boxcar Hospodar, because I guess when he hit you, it felt like you're getting hit by a boxcar. He's still a big guy, and boy, he put his Cooperalls on, and he wristed in the shot from the mound instead of throwing out the first pitch. He wrist shotted it too, and the Current had this great shot of him taking the shot with the ball in the air. Really cool thing, and I'll tell you, we were very honored. Matthew Berry, our director of communications for our entire social media network, had created these player cards. You might have seen them where they had the little Yard Goat logo in the corner, and then they had the Whaler from the playing days. So they had Marty Howe and Dave Babbage and Wayne Babbage and all these players. And the Yard Goats asked us if they could put that on their jumbotron, and of course we were over the moon at that. You know,
Sure.
so great job by Matt Berry. Every time, and we ended
Gabe-
up on
Gabe
it,
Rosa.
and Gabe
Gabe
Rosa
Rosa
too.
also,
Those guys totally collaborated to get those on there. And you know, when they took the picture of Chuck Caton, we were on there, so we got to be on the jumbotron. That was kind of cool. I'd never been on a jumbotron that many times.
Without the wanted
It wasn't
under
my
you.
best look. It wasn't my best look, but hey, we had a great time. And Chuck Caton, of course, the master of all ceremonies, kicked off the night, and you can see that video actually if you go to Peter Hindle on YouTube. There's a short video of Chuck introducing the event, and he says, kind of funny, he says, when Dean Zappalardi contacted me, he said, hey, it's been 20 years since the Whalers left. We're going to celebrate that. Why don't you come out? And he's like, wait a minute. And he goes, well, it didn't come out that way, but it is kind of funny. We are commemorating that the Whalers left, but I think the point is that how much people still wish they were still here is the bottom line. And it was just it was a great event. They had, everybody come out. The guys were all wearing their jerseys, and the stories were the best part. I mean, I sat at a table with Norm Barnes, who was on the Philadelphia Flyers in the 83-84 season when they won 25. They won their first 25 games. They tied 10, so they went 35-0.
Wow.
To start the season.
Wow.
So that was, no one will ever break that because, of course, they don't do ties like that anymore.
Right.
But no one's going 35 games without losing. I mean,
Nope.
that was just something else. And, Dave Babich was there, of course, and he was a great defenseman for the Whalers. And I remember asking him, I said, when I was a kid, I heard that you were in a fight with some guy and you had your hand on the ice. And, when everyone gets involved, someone stepped on your fingers. And he goes, yeah, he goes, that was against Buffalo. He goes, I had this guy down on the ice, and I put my hand down the ice, and they stepped on it, and they said, oh, don't worry, we're just going to sew you back up. And that was it. They just sewed him back up, and they put some of that Freeze-It on for the paint. He said, it was awful, and they told me to get back out there. That would never happen today. Today,
No.
the guy would, are you kidding? He'd have a life supply of milkshakes and be in the hospital for months.
And
So-
it was great because I was following the social media so I could see what was going on while on vacation. And the Police Athletic League was supposed to have a golf tournament on Friday, but because of the rain coming in, they canceled it. But Bob Crawford and some of the former Whalers went up to the Yukon Children's Cancer Fund and visited them. So I think they took an event that they couldn't have and turned it into an event they could have. And again, the Whalers were always very good with charity. You see it with the Wolfpack today. They went up to the hospital and had some pictures with the kids up there. So, that's another great thing that happened. And like you said about the luncheon, it benefited the Boys and Girls Club of Hartford.
Right.
Any way you can help charity, that's what the Whalers were. That's what the hockey teams here in the Hartford area do.
Yeah.
And, did you think, and we're going to have Dean back on the show to do a post-weekend recap to see how he felt about it and how the Yard Goats felt about, the crowds that came in.
Yeah. And, when we were at this Whaler luncheon, I saw Ivan Corvo, who still looks like he could kind of play. He's still a big guy and all that. And, of course, he was traded, Mike Leute was traded for him, and they got him from the Washington Capitals. And I'll tell you, in the background on a large screen TV in this Yard Goats club, they had the Game 7, the 92 finals, Frank Pietrangelo in net, Patrick Waugh on the other end, overtime. And he was watching this replay like it was on live. I mean, he was really into it, and he's like, there's Frank, and we were talking about the mustaches, because all the Whalers players had mustaches. Same thing as every guy I talked to today. The mustache is never coming back. And not wearing it. But he was funny because he said, obviously he hit the crossbar in overtime against Patrick Waugh, and he said, boy, we really had chances to beat that team. And he was so into watching it, and I ended up talking to him about fighting. And I said to him, so, is that really, you going at it? And he's like, oh yeah. He goes, one time I was with the Washington Capitals, and I gave Bob Probert a check. And next thing I know, he's chasing me around the ice. He goes, and I didn't want to go with Bob Probert. And he goes, I go, how'd you do? And he goes, you know what? I did okay. He goes, I did all right, but man, he goes, I had to drop the gloves because he would not leave me alone. And if you go on YouTube and search Ivan Corvo versus Bob Probert, you can see that fight. And you know what? He does do okay, but man, it's just...
He was just praying.
Oh, it's like, are you kidding? It's like fighting a black bear. I mean, like, oh my God, he was all over him. But
he was. Bobby Probert was the strongest guy in hockey.
Oh my gosh. But, Ivan Corvo's from the New Britain area, still staying around Connecticut, and he played 8 years overseas for hockey back in the day. So, but he doesn't lace him up anymore, he says. So,
you were saying that when he stopped playing, that was it.
That was it. And I was like, wow, really?
Interesting.
And he said, no, he's like, I got no interest. So, but, he's the type of guy that definitely be back. But, we just had a good time, and over 20,000 people came out I think they had. I don't know if they sold out all 3 games, but they definitely sold out the Saturday night game. And they had a ton of people come, and they got good reviews. And I'll tell you, the entire gift shop was nothing but Whalers and Yard Goats stuff, and they even had the Yard Goats emblem on one of those puck heads.
Yep,
you put the puck
I
head
saw
on.
that.
Yeah. So it was really cool. They did a great job. I can't wait for next year. So
And you wanted to touch on that the right field fence there with those
oh
fans.
my gosh, yeah, boy. We'll have to we'll put a picture actually out with this. So about 18 to 20 people got together, and they all had shirts with the one letter on them, and it said "Bring back the NHL," and they were all out in center field there.
Yep.
You clearly see them, and it was great for us. We had nothing to do with it, so it goes to show you that there's plenty of people out there that want the NHL back.
It's contagious.
Yeah.
I mean, Hartford was a major league city. We've talked about it. You know, it's very difficult for all of us hockey fans, to go from a major league city and now to a minor league. We enjoy the sports we have, but we were the major league city. So, we still have that, and I believe the people of Connecticut want a major league team in their city, and they should.
Right.
We have a lot to be proud about. And it was great that I congratulate the Yard Goats for taking it a step further. They have the colors, they have the song, and now you're at a Whaler weekend. Great for them. Good for you, Dean, and all the staff over at the Yard Goats. Tim Russett. Or Russ. He did a great job. To have these guys come in, and like you said, they were great to talk to. And to bring up the memories, and you got a couple bits of info that we might be able to get some people on the show. We'll see what happens. It
was the only guy that didn't want anything to do with it was Marty Howe. I handed out a card and asked every Whaler, I'm like, boy, we do this TV show, and they're all like, you're kidding me. Grant Jennings was there. He's in Alaska, and he's like, how am I going to do that? And I said, we'll just call you on the phone. But Marty Howe was like, nope. He likes to keep to himself, so he was like, just keep your card. He said he would keep your card. I'm all set.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's just the way it goes. So and I understand that. You don't want to be bothered, but hopefully we'll get something. And it seemed like Chuck Caton was interested in being a guest on the show, maybe via Skype or something along those lines. But it was a great opportunity. It got good press from the Current, and a lot of people covered it. And we even had some good stuff on our page about it. So looking forward to next year. And if you haven't been to the Yard Goats Stadium yet, go check it out. I mean, they were one of the top teams draws. They're close to the top. Over 250,000 people have been to the Yard Goats. They've already met their season sales. So sky's the limit. So I hope that they continue to do well.
It's awesome. They hit their 40,000 fan mark about a month ago, and that is just awesome. As we've talked about before, listen, it's done. Go enjoy it. We've enjoyed several games there. We have a good time.
I'm ready to go again.
Talking to people, have a cold beverage. And it's nice to get out there and see the people enjoying it with the families, just like you see at the XL Center.
Right.
And pretty soon it's almost hockey season. I think there's 72 days left till we have hockey season.
I know, it's only a couple of months. It's about 8 weeks, and then you're already talking about.
You're
well into your preseason, and the Wolfpack will play a couple games. They usually do it at Trinity or at Cromwell.
Yep.
You can probably see UConn early in October, actually, at the Friedis
Center.
Ice Center. So. We're right around the corner already. Here we go. And, we'll have to see how this new ice sheet affects play for both teams, UConn and the Wolfpack.
And it could be a lot faster, besides the unevenness. But, we only have a couple minutes left. We want to just let you guys know, if you have a topic that you want to discuss, email us at jewhaler13@gmail.com. or phindle19@gmail.com. And we will get back to you and see what we can do for you. So again, thank you very much for your viewership. We are the Whaler guys, you guys are the Brigade, and we are one nation under green. You guys have a great night.
Let's go Whale.
See ya.